Welcome! ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 25th of March. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733, title sponsor of everything ZASLOW Show 2.0. If you've been involved in an accident, you're dealing with a personal injury, let them put their skills to work for you. You deserve to be compensated. Anidjar and Levine accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. It is a Monday. I'm so glad you're starting the week with us. We have had a very hectic weekend. We got the tournament. Here's the thing. So, obviously, because I'm doing shows for ESPN now, I got to be very involved in the tournament. But also, I have to at least know a little bit of what's going on with the women's tournament. And I would imagine a lot of people are experiencing the same thing because the women's game is growing and growing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I love the women's tournament. No, I'm keeping an eye on the women's tournament. I'm watching a little bit of it because I need to know what's going on for work purposes. But I do know there is a major momentum building with the women's tournament. They got the storylines. You got the stars. They're very good, by the way the NBA promotes their stars. The women's college basketball game, they're very good at that as well. And so as a result, with the women's game growing, not only is it wall-to-wall basketball over the weekend with the men's NCAA tournament, but you also mix in the women's NCAA tournament. It's so much basketball. You got to find a way still to spend time with your family. I mean, come on, you're going to forget your kids' names. You got to find a way to still spend the time. Now, of course, the tournament's here. We're in full swing. That means Bet Online, your bracket headquarters for this season. The best bracket contest out there. Odds, lines, info on every game, every round, right up until the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering info anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to Bet Online today. Get in on all the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. So, we got a lot of tournament stuff to get to. We got a little bit of NBA, the Heat last night, the Panthers last night. There's a lot happening here, okay? By the way, if you're looking for some picks, I join Driving Line every Monday morning. That's Jonathan Coachman's venture. It's your sports betting brand of record. Go to youtube.com/@drivingtheline. I'm on every Monday, so I was on today. You can check out my picks. I'll just give you my NBA play now. Pacers plus 5.5 tonight. They're at the LA Clippers. I like the Pacers this evening. But if you want all the winning plays, go back and watch that. Go check that out. So, like I said, we got Panthers to get to from yesterday. We got Heat to get to from yesterday. I saw some movies this weekend. Got a couple movie reviews for you today also. So we got some good stuff. But you know what? Let's get to what happened last night. All right. So we know how we do like to start the show with some basketball that happened yesterday. But we're not going to do NBA. We're going to go over some of the big stuff that happened in the tournament yesterday. Now, yeah, the number one seeds yesterday, all cruising. Purdue crushes Utah State yesterday. Actually, I shouldn't say all cruising. Purdue crushes Utah State yesterday. UConn tops Grand Canyon. And Houston over Texas A&M in overtime. All right. That was a fantastic game. Almost a disaster at the very end there for Houston as you had Texas A&M. They get the shot to go at the buzzer there. But Houston, they wind up surviving in overtime. So all of the number one seeds, they have all advanced now. All right. And of course, the day before, you had North Carolina, who advanced rather easily, over Michigan State. By the way, I said before, UConn over Grand Canyon. Alabama beat Grand Canyon, UConn topped Northwestern yesterday. Sorry about that. But two of the number one seeds cruise, Purdue and UConn. Houston, they were tested. UNC, they advanced the day before. Duke, I love watching Duke lose, all right? I love the look on those kids' faces when they're in the crowd and they see their school lose. I mean, all the kids at Duke that think it's their birthright to wind up winning every single college basketball game. But I get conflicted with Duke. See, I want them to lose early because I like when they lose, because I dislike Duke. But I'm okay with them winning yesterday because now they're like the evil empire, you know? When they're advancing, there's interest, there's juice to every Duke game. You want to watch the game and root against them. So I'm okay with Duke advancing here. I like it. You also had Clemson, number 6 seed Clemson, top number 3 Baylor yesterday. That was, if you want to do big upset, that was the big upset yesterday. So overall, let's be honest here. Tournament's been kind of lousy so far. I'm not going to lie. You've had some really good games. You've had some games come all the way down to the wire. You haven't had any buzzer beaters at the end of regulation to end the game, like you had a buzzer beater yesterday with Texas A&M to send the game to overtime. You had some shots that were right before the buzzer, but that's a game winner, but that's not a buzzer beater. Very big difference. The tournament, though, overall, not going to lie, it's been, maybe lousy is not the right way to put it, but it has not been great. But it actually sets up for a very good Sweet 16. And I'm good with that. You guys know how I feel about the tournament. You're rooting for the madness. There's always madness. Although there was not a ton of madness this weekend. You root for the madness, but not too much madness, all right? Like, you like to get NC State and Oakland against each other in the second round, because then whoever wins that, it was NC State, advances to the Sweet 16, and you know you have at least one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16, and that's number 11, NC State. But if you get too many upsets, if there's too much madness, you're deprived of the great matchups in the Sweet 16. And look now, we got great matchups. Houston and Duke. You got Marquette and NC State. It's your Cinderella. NC State number 11. You got number 2 versus number 3, Iowa State and Illinois. 1 versus 5, UConn, San Diego State. North Carolina, Alabama. Arizona, number 6, Clemson. Tennessee, Creighton, 2 versus 3, and 1 versus 5, Purdue, Gonzaga. So because we didn't have so much madness, you get the great games in the Sweet 16. All right, 6 of those 8 games I just gave you are against the favored seeds at this point in the tournament. So far, 10 of the 12 top-seeded teams have advanced the Sweet 16. That's right. 10 of the top 12 seeds. So of the top 3 seeds in each region, 10 of those 12 teams are advancing to the Sweet 16. The only ones out, number 3 Kentucky, number 3 Baylor. Oakland knocked off Kentucky, Clemson knocked off Baylor, and advanced their way to the Sweet 16 because they knocked off Baylor, obviously, yesterday. Kentucky lost in the first round. So 10 of the top 12 seeds have advanced to the Sweet 16. I know some people don't like that because you want the madness and the upsets. I'm good with it. I want the really good matchups in the Sweet 16. And you got some great stuff coming up. So that's what happened last night as far as the tournament goes. All right, so there you have it. Now, let's get to the important stuff. You guys know what the important stuff is. Our local teams. And of course, how was I enjoying the games yesterday throughout the day? Now, I was on at 5 p.m. on ESPN Radio yesterday. When I got done, we sat down. We're watching the tournament, watching a little Yale San Diego State. How are we doing that? Ice cold Johnny Cuba in my hand. You know what I'm talking about. That's right. Official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. Johnny Cuba. European roots with that Caribbean soul. A refreshing German lager in a can. You can pick up a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba. Your local Sedanos, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas. Make sure you always drink responsibly. And of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. 15-1 yesterday, or over the weekend. 15-1 Saturday and Sunday, money line favorites. Think about that. And I guess the one was Clemson. 15-1 money line favorites over the weekend. That's what. You're getting a lot of chalk here, but that means you get the really good games. Okay. Now, by the way, if I could also have, before we get to the local stuff here with certainly the Panthers and with the Heat as well, who won by 1,000 yesterday, am I the only one that continues refreshing Twitter? I am waiting for this Washington Post story on Kim Mulkey, head coach LSU women's basketball. I keep refreshing Twitter. I can't wait to read this story. Better not be behind a paywall. I can't wait to hear Somebody finally going after this Kim Mulkey. She's disgusting. And here's the thing. She knows this story is going to be terrible because she knows she's a nasty woman. She knows this story is going to be awful. That's why she's hired her lawyers. That's why she's out there getting in front of it. Think about this. Number one, getting in front of it. She's alerted everybody now. Now, I knew that there were whispers that a Washington Post story was coming out, but now everybody knows. So she's alerted everybody now to this story. A lot more eyes and ears. And now we're all waiting for it. We're waiting for this story to come out, and it's going to be ugly. She knows it's going to be ugly. That's why she's out in front of a story that hasn't even come out yet, that she hasn't even seen yet. Because, think about that. She is trashing a story, a sleazy reporter, a story that she has not seen, a story that has not come out yet. I wonder why. Because she knows it's going to be awful. Because she knows she is a nasty woman. And I can't wait for this. I keep refreshing Twitter. I can't wait to read this story. She is very tough to take. I mean, man, great coach. Obviously, she won the championships at Baylor. She won last year at LSU. But my God, she is tough to take. I don't need to go through the list of her controversies. You can go on Google. Just Google Kim Mulkey controversy. She is gross. She's a nasty woman. So I can't wait for this story to come out. All right. I'm going to get to the Shohei Ohtani stuff, all right? Don't worry. Let's stick with the local stuff for now. The Florida Panthers. So the Panthers had lost 4 in a row. They did get a point. Now, they're dealing with injuries right now. No Barkov, no Forsling, no Ekblad. They're dealing with injuries right now. They wind up losing at the Rangers 4-3 in an overtime shootout on Saturday. They gave up they were up 2-0. They gave up the tying goal with like 3 minutes left in the game. Sucks. So they wind up losing in the shootout on Saturday. Second day of a back-to-back. Anthony Stolarz, who's been amazing this year, is in net. Second night of a back-to-back at the Philadelphia Flyers. So here's what I did, of course. You know my style. I'm going to start the show on ESPN yesterday. I'm hosting primetime, and it's from 5 to 9 p.m. And I say that we got the Heat game going on at the same time as the Panther game. I have to watch the Heat because I can't do a national show and ignore what's going on with the Heat. It's too important. It's too mainstream. The Panthers and the National Hockey League, I can record it, like I always do, and watch it afterwards. So I say to the producers there in Bristol, hey, what are the chances nobody spoils the Panther game for me? Can you tell Kevin Winter doing the updates, the SportsCenter updates, not to say the Panthers score? I'm going to watch the Heat game. I got the Heat game on a TV. I got the NCAA tournament on an iPad, and I'm doing the show. I'm hosting primetime on ESPN Radio. Can I avoid the Panthers score, any Panther updates until after the game? The answer was, after the show, the answer was yes. So, I'm done at 9 p.m. I go downstairs. I'm putting on the Panther game. I don't know what happened. That's the way I like it. You get to breeze right through the game. It's such a good way to do it. Fast forward through the commercials. Fast forward through intermissions. So the Panthers, first period, Sam Reinhart gets his 49th of the season.
Got it ahead to Lundell. He's got Montour streaking in, back for Lundell. Centering, it's Reinhart. He scores! He's up to 49 on the season, and Reinhart gives the Panthers the lead.
Oh, boot, scoot, and boogie. The Panthers came up that ice.
That's right, so the Panthers go up 1-0. Sam Reinhart there on the rush. Puts the Panthers up, lights the lamp for the first time. All right, we're up to a good start here in Philadelphia. Need these 2 points. No Barkov, no Ekblad, no Forsling like I told you. You got Kulikov back, who just returned from suspension. And then in the second period, on the power play, your boy Vladimir Tarasenko gives the Panthers a 2-goal lead.
And Haddard on the clear ahead. Look out, Konechny. And a great play by Montour to break it up. Konechny was flying through center ice. Here's a chance. Tarasenko scores! Vlad on the power play. And the Panthers add to the lead.
Tarasenko's 20th goal of the season, his 3rd as a member of the Panthers. Beautiful snipe on the rush, on the power play. 2-0 Panthers We go into the third period. Next goal is going to be crucial. Carter Verhaeghe. By the way, great defensive play from Brandon Montour to set it up.
Into the corner. Now Verhaeghe, one-on-one against Schitting. Verhaeghe gets around him. He's in, and he scores! Carter Verhaeghe off the rush, and he makes it 3-0. 32nd of the year for Verhaeghe.
Yeah, and he's starting to heat up.
Actually, excuse me, the Montour defensive play to set up the Tarasenko goal. There was Verhaeghe driving in all by himself. He gets his 32nd goal of the season, I think it was. Panthers go up 3-0. Excellent job. Now they're in full control. Reinhart, though, he's sitting on 49. Can he become the second Panther ever to get to 50? Well, John Tortorella, coach of the Flyers, he pulls the goalie down 3-0 on the power play with 7 minutes left in the game. So 6-on-4, it works. They make it 3-1. Now later in the game, they pulled the goalie again. There's like 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the game. Panthers lead 3-1. Sam Reinhart, a chance to get 50.
The empty net! He just missed for 50! Panthers get there, Losterinen. Looking to kill some clock. Centers, there it is! Break out the headline! Sam scores 50! The second Panther ever, besides Pavel Bure, to score 50 goals in a season. It is Sam Reinhart.
Oh, he was excited. Normally you don't get so excited with an empty net goal up to 4-1. But, I mean, number 50, that's enormous. He's in a contract year. He knows what it means. Hopefully the Panthers can keep him. I don't want to worry about that right now. I'm trying to win a Stanley Cup. But Sam Reinhart becomes the second Florida Panther ever to score 50 goals. It's only the third time it's ever happened. Pavel Bure scored 59, scored 58, back-to-back years. Sam Reinhart, 50 goals, second Florida Panther ever. Congratulations to him. Panthers get a big 2 points. They win 4-1. And now next up for your favorite little hockey team, big homestand starts tomorrow night against the Boston Bruins. That's right. Tomorrow could go a long way toward determining if the Panthers are going to win that President's Trophy again. Right now, the Panthers, they're not in first place anymore. Well, they're in first place, yes, in the Atlantic Division. Overall, in the East, they are not first place anymore. Actually, the New York Rangers are. The Rangers have 98 points. And then, how about this? You got 3 teams, Panthers, Hurricanes, Bruins, who are all within 1 point of the Rangers for first in the East. Rangers are tied for first overall for President's Trophy with the Vancouver Canucks. But in the Atlantic, which is very important, 11 games to play. Panthers, 97 points. Bruins, 97 points. Panthers have a game in hand, and they play tomorrow night. Huge game at Amerant Bank Arena tomorrow night. That's what I'm talking about. Very impressive by Sam Reinhart. 50 goals. I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? You know what else is impressive? All the deals going on right now at the official car dealership of ZASLOW Show 2.0. You know I'm talking about North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. There's a lot to love right now at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru this month of March with incredible offers on all new Subarus in stock, as well as every pre-owned vehicle on their lot. Right now, you can enjoy incredible offers like, first of all, you got the Subaru A Lot to Love event that's still going on now through April 1st. Great offers like you could lease the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Premium, just $199 a month for 36 months with $54.95 due at signing with approved credit. Just go to NFLSubaru.com right now. You can check out all the great deals they got going on. NFLSubaru.com at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. You're going to get a relaxed indoor car shopping experience, or maybe you just need your current vehicle serviced. Well, here's the thing. Either way, you're going to be treated like royalty at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. They service all makes and models. So whatever you're driving, you're going to service with confidence at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. And with an extensive new and pre-owned Subaru inventory, plus used cars, trucks, SUVs of every make and model, you're sure to find your next vehicle at North Fort Lauderdale Subaru. Plus, all new Subarus and most pre-owned vehicles, they come with a lifetime warranty. You know that you're covered. NFLSubaru.com. That's NFLSubaru.com. North Fort Lauderdale Subaru, the location you know with an experience you'll love. All right. So the Heat yesterday, Oh my God, the Heat kill the Cavaliers. The Heat win yesterday, 121-84. They win by 37. I think they were up by 40 at one point, definitely 39. I get it's a shorthanded Cavalier team. They clearly were just not into that game yesterday. No Donovan Mitchell. They had Evan Mobley. They had Darius Garland. The Heat, they're still minus Tyler Hero because, of course, they're also still minus Duncan Robinson. So you love that the Heat, against a very good defensive team in Cleveland, were able to score 121 points. You know, you're going to find out a lot about your team tomorrow, I believe. You're facing the Golden State Warriors. And I understand it's like, ZASLOW, the Warriors, who the hell cares? They're 10th in the Western Conference. You're right. Like, you got to point that out. It's not like this Warriors team are something to be afraid of. They're literally 10th in the Western Conference. But I think we're going to start finding out a little bit about this team because they went through a malaise, over the last couple of weeks. They were not playing well. And now we're in a place, the Heat are sitting at 39-32. We have 11 games remaining on the schedule. Tied in the loss column, but a half game back of number 6 Indiana. They're probably not going to catch number 4 or 5 New York, Orlando, because we're 3 and 4 games back of those teams respectively. But I kind of want to stay out of the play-in. Now, if they have to be in the play-in, it's not that big a deal because, I already told you this, the spots that the Heat, that I think if you're a Heat fan, the spots you want to be in, you want to finish either 6th or 7th. Not that we're afraid of Boston. Nobody here is afraid of Boston. But let's delay the inevitable to the Eastern Conference Finals. The spot you want to be in is 6 or 7 because then you're in the other side of the Eastern Conference bracket and you would meet Boston potentially. If Boston can even get there, I think New York's going to give them a run for their money. You would delay the inevitable matchup with Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals. So you want to be 6 or 7, I believe, if you're a Heat fan going into the playoffs. Because look at this, all right? Right now, the Heat at 39-32, half game back of number 6. If you finish 7 right now, if the play-in was today, and finally, by the way, Philadelphia has dropped out of that top 6. Like, you've been waiting for that since Embiid went out. Finally, it's happened. I don't think they're going to climb back up into the top 6. Right now, Miami would host Philadelphia in a play-in. If you win that game, and they were in that spot last year too, remember, they hosted Atlanta. Atlanta kicked our ass, and then we hosted Chicago just to get in as the 8th seed. You would host Philadelphia in the first play-in game. That's not a bad scenario, because if you win that game, you're then the number 7 seed. You would face likely Milwaukee in the first round, which I think is a great matchup for the Heat. And then your second round matchup, you play the winner of 3 versus 6, which is Cleveland and Indiana. I got to tell you, if that's the road to the Eastern Conference Finals that the Heat have, I like that road. That looks good to me. So finishing 7, as long as you win the first play-in game, is not a bad spot. Same thing with finishing 6. Ideally, finishing 6 would be the money spot because then you don't have to play in the play-in, and your first round matchup is likely Cleveland. Could be New York, by the way, which will be a lot of fun. It's likely Cleveland, could be New York, and then if you win that, you move on and play the 2 versus 7 winner, which would probably be Milwaukee, maybe Indiana. I don't know. But again, delays the inevitable matchup with Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals. So you don't want to be 8. Although I think the Celtics also don't want the Heat to be 8. I think you want to be 6 or 7. Ideally 6, but 7, that would be okay too. I think you're all right with that. So there's a little bit on the Heat for you. I mean, look, Jimmy, Bam, they each had 15 points. Didn't even have to play very much yesterday. Next up tomorrow, they are at the Golden State Warriors. So both teams back, both our favorite local teams back in action. Panthers, they are at home tomorrow. They are taking on Boston. Huge game. Heat, back at home tomorrow. They are taking on Golden State. Huge game. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about Ohtani here. Ohtani is talking to the media today. And if you think he's going to get up there and take questions, you're nuts. Ohtani's going to get up there. He's going to read a statement. Is he going to read it or his interpreter? I mean, look, he doesn't speak English, right? It's all based around the interpreter. his new interpreter, I suppose, is going to read a statement. And that's it. If you think he's taking questions today, you're nuts. So they could make a big deal out of Ohtani meeting with the media today. It's not going to be a big deal. If this was a big deal, not a big deal, on Ohtani meeting the media, we go, not a big deal. But this Ohtani story does not pass the smell test. Not even close. There are several problems I have with this whole Ohtani situation. And by the way, if you're not into Major League Baseball, if you don't know a ton about Ohtani, now I think everybody listening to ZASLOW Show 2.0, I think you guys certainly know. But for people who are, not into Major League Baseball, this is the equivalent of if LeBron James were caught in this story with a potential, with someone stealing a massive theft of $4.5 million to pay a gambling debt. This is as big as if it were LeBron James. Ohtani is the biggest star in Major League Baseball. He's one of the biggest stars in the world because of the Japanese contingent. And he's in his prime. And he just signed a $700 million deal with the Dodgers. This is as big a story as it can get. And it's a disaster for Major League Baseball with their season opening up on Thursday, right? By the way, that's true, right? Marlins season opens up on Thursday. Not excited whatsoever. All right, anyway. So, several problems I have here. Let me preface this whole thing with, I do believe, when it all comes down to it, if we get to the bottom of it, if we got enough investigation, the journalism, the feds, if we get to the bottom of this, I do believe we are going to find that it was Ohtani all along. It was Ohtani making these bets. Now, is it just soccer bets? Which has been said? Is it just bets on other sports? I don't know what the rules are for Major League Baseball for betting on other sports, but you gotta figure that he will still get in some kind of trouble, because why else would we have this cover-up if he wouldn't get into any trouble for betting on other sports? I don't believe he was betting on baseball. I don't believe he could be that stupid. But I do believe there must be some kind of penalty for betting on other sports. Otherwise, why would there be this cover-up? Okay, fine. The story originally comes out, the interpreter, Mitsuhara, has a 90-minute sit-down with ESPN, a whole interview, goes over the whole thing. If he stole $4.5 million from Ohtani, is he still in the dugout in that second game in Korea, Dodgers and Padres, and he and Ohtani are yucking it up in the bottom of the ninth inning? Are you fucking kidding me? So that's one example of why this story does not pass the smell test. Another one. If this guy, and they're, tight, like best friends since Ohtani got here. That's usually the relationship between the foreign player and the interpreter, the Japanese player and the interpreter. They are tight, like best friends. If he stole $4.5 million from you, the way the story originally started was that he gave him $4.5 million to cover his debt, that he paid off the debt for him. And then the story continues to change where it becomes massive theft, that this guy, he has power of attorney. He has access. I get it that they're close. An interpreter has access to Shohei Ohtani's checking account. He can just move $4.5 million. And if Shohei Ohtani the original story, which was likely the truth, or at least part of the truth, the original story that Shohei Ohtani paid off the gambling debt for him, if you were paying off a gambling debt for your friend, would you pay off the debt and also fire him? Wouldn't it be one or the other? Either you pay off the debt and you do that because you're friends, and then you keep him because you're friends, or you don't pay off the debt because you're angry and then you fire him. You don't do both. You don't pay off the debt and fire him. Why would you do that? And finally, this is the part that is fishiest to me. You're telling me that there is a bookmaker out there, there is a bookie out there who allows an interpreter, I don't know what he makes, probably makes six figures, nothing crazy, but you're telling me a bookie allows a regular guy with essentially a regular job, This guy's job, he's an interpreter. Again, not making all crazy money. You allow that person, if you're a bookie, to run up a $4.5 million tab before making them pay out? I got a spoiler alert for you here. The answer is no. That's not the way it works. Now, would you allow someone who just signed a $700 million contract to run up a $4.5 million debt because you know that they have the money and you know that they're good for it and their name might be Shohei Ohtani? Yep, I could see that. But a $4.5 million debt, you're allowing an interpreter run up without paying? No. That's not the way it goes down. Not logical. Not buying it. I don't know if we're ever going to get to the bottom of this. I don't. But if we do get to the bottom of it, I would be stunned if it wasn't Ohtani that's doing the betting here.